Hi, my name's Stephanie and I'm a full-time reseller, and most of my videos are about cool deals that I find, or things I sell things for, just things like that. But today was a very tragic day. My little Chihuahua, you just never know what's going to happen from day to day. I know there's a lot of horrible things going on in the world, but for a lot of us, like, our little dogs are like our kids. But I took my little dog Eve to the vet about a week ago because she just seemed to be in pain in her mouth and she was kind of breathing weird. And he just said, "Oh yeah, she has a little tumor in her mouth, but she has a heart murmur, but she sounds fine. Everything else looks good. We'll just get her in next week for surgery." And that was supposed to be tomorrow. But last night she started breathing weird and just super weak, not wanting to eat, and she was just like out of breath, out of breath, out of breath. And so I called first thing this morning and took her in, and he's like, "Yeah, all of a sudden it seems like she has a heart condition, heart failure, and she might have 6 months to live." He's like, "I can give you this medication that'll help her with her breathing, or might help her heart, but if she doesn't get better in the next couple of days, please come in right away." Well, I took her out. They went back, and the vet technicians were getting her pills ready. The door was open, and I set her down just to go pay, and all of a sudden she just collapsed, and she was like drooling, and I just, at the time you just freak out, and I just started bawling, and I called them in. I said, "What's wrong with her?" And they picked her up, and she was just like, you could tell she was passing away. Like within minutes of the doctor seeing her and pain, she just collapsed. And so my heart is just broken. Little Eve, anyways, he put stuff in her to help her go so she wasn't struggling, because she was like really struggling to breathe. But I went in there today just thinking, oh, maybe they can push the surgery today, to go so they can get that little tumor out of her mouth, or they'll just give her some kind of medication or something for pain. But yeah, she just dropped dead at the vet's office. But I have fostered dogs for like 20 years, off and on for 20 years, and I was supposed to go to, it's called Davis County Animal Shelter, just 10 minutes from my house. The rescue group wanted me to pick up this certain dog, and I was waiting. This was during like the beginning of COVID, and instead they brought little Eve wrapped up in a blanket with just her face sticking out, and she only had one eye. And they said, "You know what? I know you were supposed to pick up this other dog, but can you take her instead? She's just having a really hard time in here." They had found her on the streets, just as a stray, and one of her eyes was bulging out. So no one came to pick her up, no one claimed her, and so they did surgery on her. She got adopted, and the people only kept her like 6 months, and they said they didn't want her, that she was too aggressive. Well, know your breeds before you adopt. Chihuahuas have to be treated a certain way, and if they've been traumatized, if they've been beaten or had attacked by a dog, they're going to have PTSD. Well, anyways, so I took her home, and I could just tell, like, she was really nervous at first, but she just kind of became part of our family. We go up for adoption days, but at nighttime she's very sensitive, and sometimes she just, like, if you pet her one too many times, she doesn't bite you hard, but she goes rah, 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 because she only has one eye. She can only see out of one eye. So I just knew that her whole life has been full of trauma. She didn't like going in dark places. I took her somewhere at someone's house, and they had like a dark cellar, and I took her with me because we were going to clean out an area, and she jumped out of my arms and just darted towards the street. Almost got hit by a car because she was terrified of that dark room. Her whole life had been just trauma and abuse and just sadness. So she was I call a foster fail. I decided to keep her rather than putting her up for adoption, because so many people doing this for so long, they think they know what type of breed they're getting. They think, oh, I can handle any dog, and give them time, and they're like, we want to return the dog. This dog's not perfect. Oh, the dog ate a cupcake off the shelf or off the counter, or he peed on the floor. It's like, dude, that's what dogs do. I mean, especially if they're in a new environment and they've been street dogs or have been traumatized. Just like a baby, it takes years to potty train. A baby doesn't come into this world knowing how to go to the bathroom and knowing how to speak and knowing how to do things. You got to train it and raise it and teach it. But So we only had her 4 years, but she had a good last 4 years. I didn't want her going into another situation where she was going to be hurt or neglected or returned back to the shelter. So I ended up keeping her, and I'm just like really sad today about just her just dropping dead out of the blue. Like, we knew she had something wrong in her mouth, but anyone who's a pet lover or has lots of, has dogs or cats and you're attached, you know how it feels. But I just want to share that with you today, and just don't take advantage. I mean, every day's special, and they say that, I hear that all the time. Today could be your last day. Treat it as if it was your last day. But it's just really hard when, with some animals I've had in the past, you can prepare for it. You're like, okay, I know this dog's passing away, and you prepare your mind mentally, and then you take them to go get euthanized. You're by their side. But when they just drop dead one day, it's just, to me, I feel like it's more traumatizing. I didn't have any time to prepare or anything. But anyways, thanks for watching, and take care, and help animals in need, rescue animals from animal shelters, and just have them a part of your life, because they appreciate you and they love you unconditionally, and they're your best friends. Have a great day.